Well, moving into our second story of the day, we have Ron DeSantis and Rufo exposing critical race theory scam with a viral clip. Now, if you recall, there was a judge that was basically trying to give a speech, and you had all these students with their panties in the bunch feeling offended and stressed out over this guy talking. I'm just going to allow the video clip to do judge. This actually comes from Blaze TV, but let's hear Ron DeSantis, Rufo, and they also examine the clip as well. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Did you see that Stanford? The video had that Stanford law. Can you, I think that there was DEI officer involved in that. Do you know the background of it? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, there was a federal judge that was speaking at Stanford Law School, and students came to protest. They heckled him. They tried to shut down the conversation by disrupting the speaker, which is a violation of university policy.
So you've invited me to speak here, and I'm being heckled nonstop. And I'm just asking for an administrator to sign what
That's an administrator. Your racism is showing.
But the twist on this story is that one of the DEI
your racism is showing. Everything is, I mean, you guys, if you saw the education system, not just K through 12, but also the college education system, your head would spin. It's not what it was when we went there. Everything from Obama on has completely gone to trash with microaggressions. You're offending me. You're a racist just because there's color of your skin. There's white privilege. All this nonsense is being spewed. If you want to get just a small glimpse of what goes on college campuses, I highly recommend The Vanishing American Adult by prior Senator Ben Sasse, who used to be the senator of Nebraska. Now I believe he's actually the president of the University of Florida, or Florida State, or something like that. But again, it's called The Vanishing American Adult. It's a fabulous book. Also, you can purchase our book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America, where we cover this very same issue of critical race theory and how it came from critical law studies and how that formed and came all the way down into our education system and is basically destroying it from the inside out. So Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America is on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. You can buy your copy now. Folks, fabulous book, very informative, but let's continue.
Directors of Stanford University actually joined in with the student mob, joined in denouncing the speaker and said that this conversation was unsafe. It was making her uncomfortable. And she said that the person shouldn't really even be speaking.
I had to write something down because I'm so uncomfortable up here. And I don't say that for sympathy. I just say I'm deeply, deeply uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable because this event is tearing at the fabric of this community that I care about and I'm here to support. And I don't know, and I have to ask myself.
He's so dumbfounded. Look at his face.
Is the juice worth the squeeze? Is this worth it? It isn't a setup. But for many people in this law school who work here, who study here, and who live here, your advocacy, your opinions from the bench land as absolute disenfranchisement of their rights and does land. Let me please. Let me and it impacts directly their people, humans, their families, and their communities. And I'm uncomfortable, and it's uncomfortable to say this to you as a person. It's uncomfortable to say that for many people here, your work has caused harm. Has caused harm. And I know that must be uncomfortable.
You guys, isn't this insane? This happens every single day, by the way. People are coddled as if there's no actual evil out there in the world. This is where we're at in America. As our society, literally, people are so coddled. Oh, I feelings. I have sympathy for these people. Your words are hurting them. They equate your words with actually punching them and harming them physically. It's so insane, you guys. But this is what goes on in our education system as well as our college campuses.
Comfortable to hear. I know that must be. Let me please finish.
What you see is that the university itself, once it succumbs to DEI ideology, once it empowers these political commissars that take over diversity, equity, and inclusion offices, they're absolutely hostile to open speech and debate. They're absolutely hostile to other perspectives besides left-wing orthodoxy. And I think this showed in a very dramatic way exactly what the DEI offices do. It's all about smothering debate and enforcing a political orthodoxy. And the more we can do to expose it, I think that the people in the middle of the country, people in the kind of rational center, are going to say it's not a good use of money. It's not a good thing for university culture, and they'll want to get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at some of the amount of money being spent across the country, I mean, you're talking about you could fund huge numbers of scholarships for students to be.
To give you an idea, and Ron DeSantis has basically already done an audit on this, but they're paying, like the lady you just saw there, like $600,000 to $850,000 a year to be a diversity, equity, inclusion officer, to do the stuff you just saw on camera, for her to stand there and basically talk to a judge and say, in a nutshell, that he's racist and offending everybody in the room, and that he's harming them with his words, and that, you know, she can't believe that she's up there having to say this, and, you know, whatever the nonsense was that she was spewing. But she's probably getting paid six figures, like $250,000 plus, to be that type of diversity, equity, inclusion officer, which basically just suppresses speech. And anybody that doesn't agree with her is racist or bigot or whatever it is. And by him even talking over her is him mansplaining or pushing his white privilege upon her and suppressing her and oppressing her. And if he's oppressing her, then he's harming the feelings of those that are listening and whatever nonsense being spewed here. But Ron DeSantis is absolutely right. This money that's being spent on just these people in general, meaning these people, these DIE knuckleheads, can be spent on actually taking low-income people and putting them through college, all paid for. But it's insane because your words are oppressing them. My words right now are harming those people. It's so asinine.
Be able to come. I mean, you want to talk about, equity, or you want to talk about some of those concepts, maybe let people qualify for some more financial aid. Instead, it seems like the administrative apparatus continues to grow. And, part of what we've said this is that this has effectively become a scam because people are making a lot of money off this. So, Chris, can you talk about kind of the industrial complex that is developed around ideas like CRT and DEI? Because I think I saw one thing. It's like someone wanted to come and was offering to speak, give a lecture about, how capitalism was racist, but only for $50,000 an hour. And I'm thinking, like, give me a break.
It's so funny he even brings that up because we saw Bernie Sanders is selling a book at Barnes & Noble's, Amazon, and he charges a fee for him going and speaking. The book was literally the case against, you don't have to apologize for capitalism or something like that. The book is about literally he's basically ripping on capitalism, which he's done for his entire life. This is a guy that honeymooned in the Soviet Union. Okay, this puts it in perspective. Bernie Sanders, a guy that's loved Cuba, then stopped loving Cuba, then moved into Venezuela, but then once Venezuela went socialist and downhill, now he moved on to somebody else. So Bernie Sanders is literally selling books, ripping capitalism at the same time. Just let that irony seep in, the same irony that Ron DeSantis here is talking about.
The communists are always the best capitalists historically, but this is a real thing. I mean, many universities around the country, including taxpayer-funded universities, have DEI bureaucracies that are spending 10, 20, 30 million. University of California, Berkeley, I believe, is spending $25 million on its DEI office. They're paying people sometimes $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. They're paying these DEI directors.
And that's lowballing it, by the way. I know I keep pausing it, but I want to fill in kind of other information not filling in here. I know there's a university in Southern California, back when this was all being kicked off, these initiatives like a decade ago, offering $600,000 back then. One person with $600,000 to make sure, and their role in DIE was to make sure that the school was admitting a certain diversity of students, meaning that everybody had equal weight. So if there was 15% of blacks, and then there'd be 15% of whites, 15% of Asians, like that type of stuff. Make sure everything was proportional and that everybody was getting equality and everything was even. Yeah, $600,000 to do that. Isn't that just lovely?
More than the president of the United States. And these people would otherwise be unemployable in the private sector. They don't have any skills. They don't have any hard skills and expertise. And so all they do is push political ideology, and they're rewarded by their friends and cronies. And so it's absolutely a scam. You can see a circular use of taxpayer funding, both within the institution, outside contractors, paid speakers. And that's really what needs to be disrupted. The public should not be giving a blank check every year to left-wing activists masquerading as scholars and university administrators. And so it is absolutely a money question as well as a values question that should be subjected to rigorous public debate.
Now, the sad thing is that even if you were to remove the funding from these universities, from taxpayer dollars, or just from the taxpayer in general, all that's going to get done, or all that's going to do, is just get passed down to the students themselves, because they're going to reallocate that money because they want to keep their DEI initiatives. They want to keep pushing this propaganda on these students. They want to continue to brainwash them with all their nonsense. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.